AST SpaceMobile is saying that it's going to build the first space-based cell network that connects directly to your smartphone. No towers, no new tech, just orbit to phone coverage anywhere on Earth. And the stock is up 221% year to date, trading around $68. And that's after a 17% drop last month. So the real question is, can AST stock continue flying, or is this the calm before a re-entry? Well, I'm still bullish, but cautiously, because this company isn't selling hype. It's selling connectivity in places the entire telecom industry can't reach. And they're not alone. They've locked in deals with AT&T, Verizon, and Vodafone. And they've got $1 billion in contracted revenue pipeline before they've even gone commercial. And here's what I haven't heard anyone talk about. They've got $1.2 billion in cash, and management's guiding for up to $75 million in revenue by the end of this year. And that runway gives them time. But if they miss those launches this year, that momentum could flip fast. That's why in this video, I'm breaking down the real math behind AST's valuation, what their latest quarter actually tells us, and the one metric that I'm tracking that could make or break the stock over the next 12 months. Hey, what's up? My name is Rick Orford. I've been trading since 1999, and no, I'm not a financial advisor. That is a good thing. I help investors like us make smarter, more confident decisions with our money. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. And you all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by almost 6 times. Go to fool.com/RickO to get your 10 stock picks right now. AST SpaceMobile is creating what it claims is the first and only space-based cellular broadband network that directly connects to most smartphones, from orbit to locations on Earth, including those without any ground cell towers. Think about that for a second. Not better towers, not faster 5G, but literally cell service from space, right? The company was founded in 2017 and they're headquartered in Texas. They've got operations around Midland International Air and Spaceport, and its mission is to develop the foundation for an increasingly interconnected society without any external technology needed. In other words, they're trying to make cell towers obsolete. And that's a massive bet on the future of connectivity. And of course, the company prides itself on being direct to cell, which basically means that AST SpaceMobile provides connection even on highways, rural areas, at sea, or even after a disaster, eliminating what we call dead zones. And its satellites fill the gap that the ground towers can't cover. Now, its flagship product, the Bluebird satellite, is engineered with roughly 2,400 square feet of coverage and targets peak speeds of up to 120 megabits per cell. To put that into perspective, that's roughly broadband level speed coming straight from orbit. No extra hardware needed. Now, just to be clear, AST doesn't sell and won't be selling a traditional phone plan. Instead, it's going to be partnering up with mobile network operators so your current plan can roam to space when needed. In fact, AST has a definitive commercial agreement with AT&T through 2030 and a $100 million strategic partnership with Verizon. Aside from that, AST has international ties with Vodafone and Rakuten, highlighting its global potential. And these companies believe that AST can bring coverage and resilience, especially in extending its services in these difficult to reach places. So AST isn't going to be competing with the carriers, they are empowering them. And that's what makes this model so different. Today, AST is preparing what's called a constellation, that should provide broader services to folks here in the States and soon internationally. And the roadmap targets the launch of dozens of these satellites through the end of 2026. The big question I have is, will those launches go on time? Because if they do, AST could lock in what I'd say is a first mover advantage that's almost impossible to copy. Now, let's have a look at the stock, because that's probably why you've tuned in, right? Last time I talked about AST, the stock was trading around $79 a share. Now it's trading at around $68. And of course, it also has a 60-month beta of 2.4, which explains that it's more than twice as volatile than the broader market. So this stock moves fast. Great for long-term investors, but risky for short-term traders. If we zoom out a little, AST is up 221% year to date and 174% over the last 52 weeks. So the stock's been rocky recently, but still it's proven to have significant growth over longer monitoring periods. But will this momentum continue? I mean, this came up on my Discord channel right after their financials came out. And while the stock price and momentum, they're nice, we do need to look at their latest report. But remember, AST is still pre-revenue. And that may why the following numbers, they might look a little concerning. So just hang in there. It's normal for companies right now or at this phase to have losses, especially as they near commercialization. I mean, they're building the system, so costs come first, profits come later. In the third quarter, AST's revenue grew 1,240% year over year to $14.7 million. And this revenue is driven by selling gateway equipment and fulfilling government contracts. Their total operating expenses also grew 42%. Meanwhile, net losses improved by nearly 64% from $237 million last year to around $84 million today. So yes, AST is still losing money, but it's losing a lot less, and revenue is exploding. And that's exactly what you want to see before commercialization. Again, these numbers are typical for pre-revenue companies, especially as they approach commercialization. But this begs a question, right? How long can they sustain their operations? Well, as of this quarter, they've got $1.2 billion in cash equivalents, and restricted cash. So they've got enough liquidity to keep the lights on. They can keep building and launching satellites well into their next phase. There's no panic button here. AST also secured over $1 billion in aggregated contracted revenue from partners as their commercialization efforts and integration with partner networks accelerate. That means that AST has locked in $1 billion of future revenue. And future cash flow visibility for a company like this, still in growth mode, it's rare. It's a signal of serious trust from the industry. Management also reiterated that its second half of 2025 revenue guidance is going to come in between 50 and 75 million. If they hit that, it could prove to investors that this isn't just science fiction. It's a real business model that's starting to take shape. So that's what I've got for Q3, but be sure to watch out for future coverage on AST, because popular stocks like this, they're innovative and there's always a lot to talk about. But with all that out of the way, is AST stock a buy today? Well, consider that a consensus among 11 Wall Street analysts say that AST SpaceMobile is a hold, with an average score of 3.36 out of 5. And the score has actually decreased over the last 3 months. Earlier, it was a moderate buy. But at the same time, Wall Street also expects as much as 39% upside with a high target price of $95. So the street's cautious, not bearish, and it usually means that analysts are waiting for proof, not promises. I mean, I think they're right. AST is developing a highly innovative technology that has the potential to generate over $1 billion in revenue. And when a company has these real partnerships, when it has the real funding and a clear mission, timing becomes everything. You don't need to catch the bottom, right? You just need to catch the trend early enough. But what do you think? Is it early enough right now to buy? Or do you think that AST SpaceMobile has what it takes to get to commercialization? Or is this stock going to come crashing down? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because it'll help others find the video, it'll support the channel, and of course, you won't miss out on any of my future deep dives. Well, folks, that's it for me today in this video. I want to thank you so much for watching once again. I'll see you next time.